One of the expectations of being a Tier 3 affiliate for iC.A.R.E mentoring is that you make a personal contact once a week with each of the students with whom you're working in your Tier 3 mentoring program. There's a way to track those contacts so that you can have a record of the conversations you've had with students, and you can validate that you've been reaching out to students. First, navigate to the iC.A.R.E mentoring.org website. On the home page, click on the Tier 3, and you'll see two buttons in the Operating Your Program section called Contact Form and Review Contacts. You have to make contacts before you can review them, so click on Contact Form. Once again, my credentials are required in order to log into the system. Once I'm inside the system, the contact form is quite simple. It says, use this form to record your personal contacts with students in your Tier 3 mentoring group. Select the student's last name and first name. Select the date when you made the contact with the student. Determine how you made contact with the student. Your options are phone call, text, email, or face-to-face. In this case, I'm going to say I had a phone call. In general, how was the student feeling? Which topics did you discuss with the student? And check any of the 5 principles from the Foundations of Mentoring programs that you specifically addressed during this conversation. In this case, I'm going to say during this phone call with Dwayne Johnson on March 9th, 2016, we didn't talk about any of the 5 principles. We talked about Dwayne's grades in school and some peer issues. Down at the bottom, I have an opportunity to enter in any notes from the discussion that I feel are important. Now that I've entered my notes from my conversation with Dwayne, I will click on the Submit button. I can close this window. It will take me back to the main home page for Tier 3 mentoring, and I can click on Review Contacts to see all the contacts I've made inside my Tier 3 program. Because this is the first contact I've made, I only have one record. That record is that I had contact with Dwayne Johnson on March 9th, 2016. You'll note again that there's this little expansion button with a plus symbol next to the last name. If I click on that, I get details. Let's go through the process of adding one more contact so that you can see what it looks like when we have more than one in there. I'm going to make that personal contact again with Dwayne Johnson. This time it's going to be on Tuesday, March 15th. This time I did through text. How is the student feeling? Very positive. And I specifically focused on his relationship with his friend, which we're putting into peer issues. Now if I review contacts from one-to-one contacts with students, you'll see that there are actually 2 contacts, one that was a phone call on March 9th and one that was a text message on March 15th. If at any time I want to review how those contacts occurred or what they were about, I can click on the date itself to get a more detailed account of what that contact was like. I can click the back button to go back to the original report. And I can close that window to go back to the Tier 3 homepage. This is how I submit personal contacts in weekly outreach to students one-on-one, and then how I review the contacts.